One thing that I feel like is so important to point out is just that we get really caught up in these unconscious patterns that we're not aware of. And the whole point of this, right, what this is all about, what doing inquiry and kind of releasing yourself, what it's really about is to kind of notice that friction. It's like you're just noticing that there's something going on here, right? There's some sense of struggling, there's some sense of friction, like an unconscious sense of resistance or opposition. And honestly, even just noticing that very fact is huge. Because when you're caught up in a pattern, you're not aware that there's opposition. You're not aware that there's struggle. You're not even aware probably that there's suffering. We get really fixated. We go into survival mode and we're like so focused on this. This is what I have to do. This is what I have to figure out. I have to change something about myself or something outside of me, my environment, just one person. So it's always something like that. But if we really start to become honest with ourselves, really, there is a sense of opposition. And if you start to do inquiry with that, like what is going on here? Like if there's any sense of suffering, right? What is the opposition about here, right now? Like a sense of this shouldn't be happening, maybe. It shouldn't be this way. So just kind of noticing that is actually a huge momentous occasion. It may not seem like it, but it's actually a huge thing to do because you're really going against all of the momentum that's like pulling you in that direction, right? It's like our whole lives we're swept away by the current, and you're starting to just notice, oh, there is a current. Oh, there's a current, like a movement, and it's unconscious. Oh, I keep getting pulled into it. Oh, okay. Because normally we get swept away and now we're lost and we're fixated, right? We're always fixated. Something needs to change. But say you're doing inquiry, right? And say you notice, okay, there's some sense of resistance, right? There's a sense of, I don't want this. And the this could be an emotion. It could be, for example, let's just say like anger and fear, right? Let's just say those are coming up for you. One of those, because I feel like those are my experience, the stickiest, the most difficult emotion to work with, because they're the deepest, really. So let's say fear or anger, right? And it's like you just notice anger keeps coming up for you. So first you want to, of course, notice that there's opposition, right? There's some sense of resistance to feeling angry. And we're not aware of this in the moment until we actually ask a question or just kind of notice or just look, like, is there resistance? Do I want to feel this anger? Right? So for example, let's say it's like, I don't want to feel angry. I don't want to be angry. So now you're aware of what that resistance is, right? It's like, yeah, I just don't want to be angry. And there could be benefits to not being angry, right? Maybe it's just tiring being angry and you just want to get over this, right? You just want to feel better. You just want relief, maybe. So what you're doing is you're acknowledging that opposition, that resistance to anger. Now, this is important, right? If the anger is not releasing, because normally if we just acknowledge the resistance, the emotion gets released. But what if, right? What if the anger just keeps coming back, keeps coming back? Okay. So really what it is that there's this going on. It's not just this, right? Like it's not just resistance that's pushing down anger and that's it. There's also anger that's coming up, for example, and it's trying to actually do something important. Because the resistance is trying to do something important, right? Resistance is trying to push away this anger because it's uncomfortable, it's tiring, I want relief. But this anger is just still not releasing. Could this be trying to give me something? So exploring both sides of the fixation, think of it like an equation almost, like a fixation. It's like there's two sides to it. And if the emotion or if the pattern is not releasing for you by going to the resistance, like, yeah, I don't want to be angry, that's what this is. But I just keep feeling angry, right? If that's what's going on, then what you have to do actually is to go into the anger. So first you can acknowledge, like, I don't want to be angry, but where is this anger coming from? Could it be trying to give me something? Because it's like there's opposition, like the resistance to anger, but there's also really opposition from both sides, because the anger is trying to give you something, the resistance to the anger is trying to give you something. So it's like, I'm angry and I don't want to be, but I'm angry but I don't want to be. And we know what the resistance is about, right? We just explored it. For example, relief, whatever, or maybe safety, because it's not safe to be angry. But what about the anger itself? So by going into the anger, what I mean is, can you explore with curiosity, what is this emotion of anger? And I'm just using anger as an example. Could be fear, could be sadness, could be whatever, right? Shame. What is this anger trying to achieve? Because it's always about change. Anger is really always about change, right? So it's like, if I could change something, if I could just express this anger, what would that do? And maybe it's like, oh, I just need to set a boundary, or I just need peace. Something has to change. But I don't want to be angry though. So if you're in a really sticky pattern, right, and both sides are really charged, there's like a lot of opposition. What you actually want to do is, one at a time, you're just exploring these two patterns. So let's say I don't want to be angry, and then I am angry. And whatever's in front of you right now, if in front of you it's like I am angry, then that's what you can connect with. Yeah, I am angry. And if you've connected already to some of the benefits, the utilities, right? Like just now, if it was, for example, setting boundaries and peace. Let's say it's like, yeah, I'm angry because I want boundaries and peace. That's what I want, boundaries, peace. But then you'll start to notice actually the other side popping in, because now you're getting all tight again. So you can go to the other side now. But so basically what you're doing is you're trusting your body, right? If there's release, great. If it's not releasing, that means it could be the other side of it. And it's sticky, right? So you want to go to both sides, one at a time. It's like, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. Oh, but I am angry. Yeah, for peace, maybe. Oh, wow, now I'm getting tight again. Oh, let me go back to the resistance. Do I want to be angry? No. No, I don't want to be angry. So you'll notice it's almost like kind of like ping pong with these really sticky patterns. Sometimes it's like you're going back and forth gently, slowly, right? Slowly. I'm doing it fast here, but it's like you're spending moments with each side of it until they both feel neutral. Once both feel neutral, once it's like, yeah, anger doesn't really feel true anymore, doesn't connect to my body anymore, then it's released. Now, if it's not releasing, again, go to the other side, explore the utilities, explore the benefits. And again, going to the other side means that there's resistance, which is I don't want to, shouldn't, can't. But then it's also, the other side is just the emotion itself. I am angry, right? That's one side. I am angry, and I don't want to be. But I am. But I don't want to be. And so you're exploring both sides of this fixation one at a time. And that's essentially how you free yourself from these really sticky patterns. And sometimes you have to be repetitive, sometimes you have to be patient, and you're going to get triggered again and you come back to it. And every time you do that, though, it should feel more neutral, less charged, less emotionality, less tightness. That's essentially what happens. Okay. And yeah, so just staying open to the opposition no matter what. And if it's really sticky, just stay curious to the other side of it. Could there be a need for that particular emotion? And there always is, which is kind of surprising. It was surprising to me, but like even the emotions that we avoid, for instance, sadness, actually, there's often a need to be sad that gets reinforced. Shame, also, there's a need there. There's going to be some charge with needing to feel that way, to feel ashamed. Same with fear, anger, guilt. I mean, all these emotions, if you think of like, there's always two sides. There's a resistance, and then there's the emotion, the feeling, and then the utilities, basically, like what that did for you, what that provided for you, right? And just kind of seeing all of this is all that we have to do. Seeing the opposition. You're not actually choosing sides, right? By seeing the opposition, allowing both one at a time, there's actually a sense of neutrality. Because normally with these survival patterns, it's like I have to pick one of these. We fixate. Our minds fixate. It's like I have to pick one side. Which one is it? I'm angry, or maybe I need to not be angry. But I have to be angry, but maybe I have to not be angry. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And thus, fixation, suffering, struggle. So by seeing both sides, we actually become free from that particular pattern and fixation. But it's difficult, right? This is really challenging. These patterns have been here for a long time. They've been here since childhood, really. There's a lot of momentum behind them. They get reinforced in all of our relationships, work, personal. So just be patient here, okay? Sometimes it's going to be really challenging to do this on your own. And just do the best that you can. That's all you can do, really.